Today on Conversations That Convert, we're continuing our series on 3 steps to a high-quality annual marketing plan for builders. And this is capturing leads.
Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Each week, Rick teams up with industry experts to tackle practical strategies in lead generation, marketing, and sales for remodelers, home improvement companies, and custom builders. From practical tips to deep industry insights, we cover everything you need to grow a stronger, smarter business.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Drew, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Hello, Rick. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to dive into the capturing leads, specifically how builders can intentionally design the lead magnets and build outbound referral networks. So they can.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is the fun part, right? We've been talking about attracting opportunities, and now we're moving into our capturing section. So in other words, what do you do with all those opportunities? How do you get them to sign on the dotted line and, at least start a conversation with you or start a relationship? And so we're going to focus on lead magnets today, along with referrals. Now, referrals are often get overlooked because a lot of people think like, well, I need more leads, so we'll go out and run paid ads or social media or SEO or GEO, whatever you want to call it. But referrals are a great source and really the best source for high quality opportunities. So we'll talk about both of those today. So what do you say, Drew? Should we jump into it?
Yes.
All right. Well, first and foremost, with capturing more opportunities, the first thing we need to identify is what is your offer? So in other words, you have an offer to start a relationship with somebody. And your offer must be more valuable than the lead's contact information and giving you permission to follow up. So in other words, this is negotiation. They're on your website or they're looking at your paid ad or maybe they're on your social media channel. And you have to give them something that they find, again, more valuable than their name, email, phone number, and permission for you to follow up. Now, the best offers are interactive. So in other words, it's not just a static, like as an example, a white paper or a download, but they're interactive. In other words, the lead gets to put some information into the offer in order to get a more personalized response, or I would say final result of that offer. And it should be really a natural progression from the information provided on your website or the landing page. So we always say that, every lead starts out with the same 3 questions. They want to know what they can build. They want to know how much it's going to cost, and then they want to know where they can build it, or if they're if they're a remodeling client, will you come to their neighborhood to remodel for them? So let's just get into some of the types of lead magnets, Drew. Then I'd like to get some of your insights as well, because you deal with this data as well. Very, very basic. I'm going to start with the first, what I call the 2 Fs. Every builder has this on their website. So the first is a phone and the second's a form. So if you have a phone on your website, okay, so just the basic things is make sure it's a click to call phone number. So somebody's on their mobile device, they can just tap it with their finger, will open up their dialer, and they can call you. So make it as easy as possible. It's amazing how many websites I still see today that don't have a click to call phone number. Again, all you're doing is you're making it harder for that lead to contact you, and they've only got so much patience before they say next and move on to one of your competitors. So the contact page form, most standard form. I see a lot of builders out there too that say, "Oh, free estimates." That's you don't ever want to start a relationship by giving away something for free, because all you're doing is devaluing your services. So the contact us page form, though, is where a lot of people will still go. You get the most garbage. When I say garbage, I mean spam and or vendors, suppliers, subcontractors will go to that form as well. So we normally see a 40 to maybe even as high as a 50%, what I'm going to call attrition rate from those contact form leads. So the 2 Fs, yes, everyone has them. There are some basic things you can do to try to improve the quality. If you're getting a lot of spam, as an example, on your contact page form, you could do a 2-factor authentication for, say, a cell phone. And so then that will eliminate like any bot spam you get. And what we normally find is that when you start doing paid ads or GEO, SEO, your site becomes more visible, and then you're going to get more attacks from bots. And I know, Drew, you've dealt with that quite a bit. All right, so moving on, the chat widget, live chat. Again, very, very good interactive tool where a lead can start a conversation, ask basic questions, and most importantly, your chat widget should be able to book an appointment. Now, we talked about white papers. So white papers can be articles or books. They're usually not used as much, but they're good for people who are just more in the beginning of research, and they're not looking to do anything right away. So they're just trying to gather information. So planning guides, that sort of thing. Interactive tools, again, these are the best. So we find is like for a custom builder, having interactive floor plan design library, that's really, really important. More of a design digital flip book. You've seen these online flip books where you can get design ideas. A scoping, project scoping, or a pricing tool where the lead can, again, put information in and set some sort of a budget for the project. And then scheduling the call. If you're dealing with people that are quite busy, it's great where they say, hey, I'm available this date and this time. Go ahead and call me during this time, and so I can get my questions answered. But so I threw kind of a mouthful out there, Drew, but what are your thoughts on some of those items?
I would say that the lead magnets, they really need to bring value to the prospects, because if they don't feel that they're gaining something real, they'll definitely won't share their contact information or give you the permission to follow up with. Also, I usually consider that a lead magnet, it's a first step in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Because it's the way you connect with it. In terms of what would make a lead magnet make it a high quality, I would say that it needs to be, and we've seen this statistically, it needs to be interactive, because in general, this type of lead magnets, it will increase by a lot the conversion rate, comparing with the static content.
So when you say interactive, I just want everyone to understand is that in order for the lead to get the information that you're offering, they need to have some inputs. So like, say example, a floor plan design library, they're able to go in and they're able to look at certain architectural motifs or certain styles of homes, or they know they have a certain size lot that they have a limited width on. And so they can search by width, that sort of thing. The scoping tool, again, is where they can go in and they can pick different floor plans or project types for remodeling. They can pick project options or plan options, put location items on there. And so they're giving information. So the more personalized you make it, the higher the emotional attachment and the greater the desire they want to talk to you. So if you have a lead magnet with more interaction in it, yes, it takes a couple more steps for them to get the information they want. However, it's they're more invested in you. And if they're more invested, the higher the probability they're going to convert into a phone call. So just a couple of tips here. One specific tip on lead magnets: make sure you're offering a variety of lead magnets and test which ones are most popular with your audience. Okay, you use that data then to produce ads, social medias, and blog posts. So I'll give you a quick example here, Drew. So if we go up to Montreal, Canada,
okay,
their number one lead magnet tool is its design. Their clientele loves to look at floor plans. So they're really into an enhanced design library, scrolling through an enhanced design library where they can search for floor plans. Now, if I go down to Ocala, Florida, a full country apart, they want to know more about pricing. So they say, hey, how much does this plan cost to build on this lot? So that information, then you can extrapolate that. And then that's what you should be building your social media posts, your paid ad posts around, is that because the higher percentage of your audience is more interested either in design ideas versus pricing ideas. So very, very important. And I always say too, is like, you got to meet the lead where they're at. Meet them where they're at. So if they may not want to talk to you for a year, okay, that's fine. So make sure you have offers to them that they don't have to have a conversation with you, and they might be ready to talk to you today. And so same thing, let them reach out on your chat widget and get real-time answers, be able to book a call with you right away, or that old click to call phone number. Just give them a wide variety, give something for everybody. And then you're going to notice that you're going to start capturing a higher percentage of those opportunities because you have more offers that are going to appeal to more people. Anything else you want to add to that, Drew?
I would mention that you, as you mentioned, Rick, actually, you need to have multiple lead magnets. And what I want to add is that you need to test to see, to test, and at the same time to measure, so you can find out which one is generating the most quality leads. And you should be tracking the conversion rate. You should be tracking the lead quality. You should be tracking also the close rate. You can compare to see how many people visit that page, and you can also tell how many have submitted the form or called you.
And then booked an appointment, which would be the conversion, and then ultimately signed a contract, which went deep into your sales pipeline. So yeah, absolutely. You want to track all those things. And next week we'll be talking more about paid ads and paid social and some of the nuances there that you want to be paying attention to as well. All right, so let's move on to, I'm going to call them outbound referral networks. So referrals are the way that every builder gets started, right? They do some good work, they impress a client, or they have a business friend in their local marketplace that refers them, and that's how they get going. So a lot of times we see builders is that they will, maybe the first 2, 3, 4, even 5 years, their business is 100% referral based. They're not doing anything for marketing. But inevitably what happens is that you will reach a saturation point where there's only so much business you can get out of relying on organic referrals. And by organic, I mean people that are just organically running into others that ask, hey, do you know anybody that does kitchen remodeling, or would you recommend a custom home builder? Organically, they give that. So what we want to talk about here with a outbound referral networks is actually systematizing referrals. So in other words, we are going to force the issue. So yeah, we'll get organic referrals, but let's get a higher percentage of referrals by adding some systems to it. So the first way to do that is to focus on past clients. So we want to make sure review requests, every single past client, we should be asking them to leave us a Google Business Profile review. I recommend you do it at time of contract, do it again at time of project completion. And if they've never requested a review, just ask them maybe quarterly to leave a review. Now, business partners is the other one. So B2B referrals, and a lot of builders don't go down this road. This should be ongoing. Probably 20 outreach a week. And this could be to realtors, interior designers, architects. Those are probably the big three. But these people too can bring you a lot of business. And this is all about just reaching out to people, establishing conversations, and then keeping top of mind with them on a monthly, semi-monthly, or perhaps a quarterly basis. But when somebody runs across, is looking for a remodeler or a custom home builder, your name is top of mind for them. So B2B is really, really important. Drew, anything you want to add to that?
Of course. So keep in mind, a referrer is the best and the highest quality type of work you can get, because if you do a good job and that person will refer to a friend or family, it means that you're most likely get the contract without or the project without a headache out there. So for that, I would suggest also to ask for reviews. And as you mentioned, Rick, from my point of view, the best moment to ask for review is at project completion, because that's when the emotion is the highest. So the satisfaction is fresh. At the same time, I'm assuming here you guys did a very good job, because if not, you'll also get a 1-star review. But
yeah. Sometimes you have to put an asterisk on that, is that people are a little bit stressed out, or maybe they're upset because things are back ordered or not done on time. So you got to play that one by ear. But For sure when you sign a contract, because normally if you're doing design build, the design is done, they're finished selections.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a
Exactly.
great time to do it as well.
Yes, when the contract is signed, also it's really good because you can also set the expectations at that point. So definitely, yes.
Now, one thing when it comes to reviews, as far as like asking for them, what we normally do is do like a 3-step process. So we'd send an email out to request the review. Then we would send a text message reminder. And then if the review has not been left, we would ask the client to make a phone call. And you also got to be careful you don't do too many at once, right, Drew? Because if you get too many reviews too quickly, especially on Google, they'll look at that and say, well, this doesn't look organic. It doesn't look natural. Exactly. So they're going to flag these reviews. So you only want to ask for a small amount each week. We typically do, I think we send out 10 or 20 per week. In an ideal world, we'd have a 20 to 25% conversion rate, where we would be getting somewhere between maybe 2 to 4, maybe even 5 emails or reviews over a 1 week period. So you just don't want to do them all in one day, and that's where you can get into trouble.
Definitely not. Yes, you don't want to look spammy to Google, because they will penalize you for that.
Exactly. Now you can ask for, I think the 2 platforms I recommend the most for builders is a Google Business Profile, and then the second would be Houzz. Those 2 are the most important. Facebook, not that big of a deal anymore. There's so much spam on Facebook. And so Facebook will get aggregated though into your Google Business Profile. So in other words, if you have 10 Houzz reviews and 10 Google Business Profile reviews and 10 Facebook reviews, you will see them all on Google Business Profile. But obviously the best leads are coming from your Google Business Profile and Houzz. And so that's where you really want to focus. If you get more reviews on Facebook, great. But it's certainly third out of those, out of the 3 I just mentioned. Finally, just one tip here is, if getting more client and B2B referrals, is to offer something of value to them first. Offer something of value to them first. So what I mean by that, from a business to business standpoint, if you're going to reach out to realtors, and the way that we do this is that we will buy realtor lists by county typically. And so let's just say we have 1,000 realtors we're going to reach out to. So our focus when we reach out to that realtor is, how can we help you grow your business? Because if they feel like it's a reciprocal relationship, they're much more likely to talk. And all I want to do is I want to get into regular conversations every week with either realtors or architects or interior designers and talk about how I can help them build their business. Because then what's going to happen naturally is they're going to start asking me about my business and what do I do and what the type of projects and where do I build them and that sort of thing. And so that's how you're going to get into referral partners. And obviously with business to business, you also want to start with a phone call, but you want to get face to face with them, because these are people that they could bring you 1, 2, or 3 clients a year. In some cases. So one relationship can yield really positive results. And so that's why it's so important to just be constantly networking. Block out time in your calendar, buy lists if you need to, focus on helping them first. And remember, most architects and interior designers, that's where their business comes from, is organic referrals. So they understand the importance of getting people referred to them just like you do. And obviously there's a lot of trust that's established in those relationships between client and architect, or client and interior designer, just like there is with client and home builder or remodeler. Final thoughts, Drew, on any of these items?
I do have one thought regarding the business to business referrals. I believe that they come from positioning yourself as valuable to their business as well. So this type of referrals, they don't come usually, at least, just from asking. You need to be positioned as a leader in your industry as well.
Yep, absolutely. What's in it for me? That's what they're going to be thinking. Why should I want to work with you? Yep. And of course, they don't want to. They don't want to work with anyone that they think is going to make them look bad. If you make them look good and you bring value add to their business, they're going to be more than happy to partner with you. So if you'd like to talk more about lead magnets and or reviews, you can go ahead and use the link below to schedule your strategy call, and we can show you how we help you attract, capture, and convert high quality leads so you too can pick and choose your clients and jobs. Thanks so much for joining us today on Conversations That Convert. And for my brothers and sisters in Christ, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all always. See you next time.